So good morning. We're going to give probably another 2-3 minutes for everyone to log in, and then we'll start the webinar.
Yeah. Victor, there's a little bit of echo.
Okay. Let's see if I can... So the people who've logged in, maybe you can type a little comment if you hear an echo, and then we'll try to adjust it.
Let's see, did that work? Yeah. I think we got feedback and echo.
Because we're on Polycom, which is usually pretty good for the webinar, so I moved it closer to me.
Let's see, did that help? I'm getting a lot of Victor. There's a lot of feedback.
I hear it from your side, actually. I have my cell phone dialed in. I don't hear it too much from me.
I wonder if I should dial in my cell phone.
Well, yours is not too bad. I hear a little bit, and no one else is really. Oh, when you close the door, lock.
Here, let me try one other thing.
Okay. Okay.
Did that help?
You sound very faint.
Okay. I don't hear.
No, I can barely hear you now.
Okay, let me go back to
the. Yeah, I hear a lot from your side.
I'm going to try just one other thing here.
I think the headset, when you had it, had a moderate amount. That's better.
Yeah, but I'm going to try one other thing. There's a lot of feedback, and then we'll start.
Because now I can't hear you. Maybe you could just dial in with your cell phone. Paul?
Yeah, I was trying a couple of things. We're going to have to just...
Can you just dial in with your cell phone? The feedback seems to be getting a little worse.
Yeah, can you give me the number?
Let me see if I can. It should be on the little GoToMeeting screen.
Hold on one second, just one second.
Can you mute? So Paul, are you dialed in?
Yeah, tell me, why don't you give me the number?
You don't see it on your screen? Because we're live now.
Victor, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, but there's echo, still echo.
Well, we'll have to move on. It's
Well,
not too bad.
if you have the number, I can dial in with my cell and try that.
Yeah. Or now it's better now. So why don't we just get started?
Okay.
All right. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. I want to thank everyone for attending our webinar this morning. LinkI is partnered with Nerdio based on their best-of-breed cloud-based platform. I'm pleased to introduce Paul Guerin, EVP of Sales and Business Development of Nerdio, to go over the solution. We're happy to take questions during the webinar and questions afterwards, and then our sales team will be calling everyone individually. And if you want to schedule one-on-one demos, we're happy to do that in the coming weeks. All right, Paul, I'll let you take over.
Yes, thank you, Victor. And if there's a little bit of feedback, it might be helpful if everyone mutes their phone.
We've muted everybody.
Okay.
And then we'll open it up for questions then.
Okay. So the this is tough. The core theme of this presentation is the cloud and how moving your on-prem hardware and software to the cloud can deliver significant benefits and make your life a lot easier. It's not going to the next slide. Victor, could you try to see if you can forward it?
Sure. Do we give him, you're the presenter. So here, just show screen on ours. So here, make us the presenter. All right. Show our screen. All right, so we'll forward for you. All right, so the next one.
Okay. So the agenda today, we'll talk a little bit about the challenges MBs face, the typical environment that we observe, where the cloud market is out, and then we're going to discuss IT as a service, which is what the Nerdio offering is all about. I'll briefly get into what Nerdio is, its admin portal, the critical role that LinkI plays, and some customer references at the end. And of course, we'll leave time for questions. Next slide. So today, the number one issue facing SMBs is security. And that should come as no surprise. Often this was thought as an issue that enterprises need to be more concerned about. But recent studies by Symantec show that 3/4 of all small and medium-sized businesses have been targeted in the last 12 months. The second big issue is that the cost of technology and the cost of labor continues to increase. And so budgets to deliver on-prem IT are increasingly unmanageable and escalating. Next slide, Victor.
Go to the next one.
The other big challenge is that the complexity of the technologies and the broad range of technologies required to deliver a full and fully integrated IT environment requires a broad set of skills. There's all kinds of tasks: break fix, security and DR, line of business applications, the Windows environment, Active Directory, et cetera, et cetera. And it's not reasonable to expect that any one individual is going to be an expert in all of these different technologies. So this idea that SMB admins can be the jack of all trades is just not a reasonable expectation. There's not enough time, budget, or training to get these individuals up to speed. So it makes working with a company like LinkHigh that can afford to have a broad set of experts critical. Next one. What we observe, so at Adar, we have hundreds of customers and thousands of users that have moved to IT as a service. And IT as a service is effectively the moving of all on-prem hardware and software to the cloud. And what we see in a typical SMB environment today is a mix of on-prem components, servers, securities, desktops, a lot of cloud services in IT strategy, monitoring, line of business apps, and then the introduction, this mix of cloud technologies. The bottom line is that a typical SMB IT environment today is very expensive, it's very time-consuming to manage, and it's complicated and getting more complicated all the time. So as I said, a lot of SMBs are wary about moving to the cloud, but things have really been changing over the last 10 years or so, 5 to 10 years. The cloud market is growing at a rate of 25% a year. Microsoft is adding 50,000 O365 subscriptions a month. They're expecting by the end of 2018, about a third of all of their revenue will come from cloud services. The benefits of moving to the cloud are real and they're there. And there are things such as, anywhere access. You can access your device, your environment from any device that you have an internet connection. Security. The cloud is in most cases very, very much more secure than on-prem because multiple layers of state-of-the-art technology have been implemented. Cloud infrastructures typically deploy state-of-the-art hardware and software and can do it in a much more frequent and professional manner than companies can do on their own. You have access to experts. You move from a CapEx to an OpEx. It is a per user per month fee. Most break fix issues go away. And what we have observed is that when you move users to the cloud and you take very robust desktops and you put them next to very robust servers, you even see performance increase. So the benefits of the cloud are real, and the question becomes how and when do you move from on-prem to the cloud? We believe that the time is right for IT as a service. And the reason for that is you've got Office 365, you've got the ubiquitous availability of business-grade internet, and that's typically all that's required. The days of having to lease very expensive communication lines is just not a requirement anymore. You've got secure and redundant colos everywhere where these cloud services can be hosted. And while virtual servers have been available for a long time, now the virtual desktop technology has caught up. So when you move from on-prem to the cloud, you get all of the benefits of the cloud without any of the shortcomings that were there a few years ago. So that whenever there's a great shift, it is usually accompanied by one or more improvements in technology, and that's what's occurring now. You've got these technology enablers to deliver IT as a service. Next. So let's talk a little bit about what IT as a service is. Our observations are that any modern IT system will have 5 core components. At the heart of it is a virtual desktop. Then you've got a productivity suite such as Office 365 for email, applications, internet messaging, etc. Security that is delivered in multiple different layers depending on your requirements. Backup and DR, and virtual servers for applications and file serving. And so IT as a service is effectively a very tight integration of the 5 core components that make up a modern IT environment. Next. Now, deploying a IT as a service in the cloud creates a requirement for a new technology to manage that. And we at ADAR have developed such a layer, which we'll talk a little bit about. But effectively, it is made up of 3 or 4 core components. One is the dynamic onboarding of users, helping a small business move their on-prem IT infrastructure and apps to the cloud. With our management portal, you can perform any IT task that's required in 3 clicks or less. And this minimizes a lot of the errors occurs in tasks like adding users, deleting users, upgrading hardware and software, etc. And we have automated most of the processes associated with IT by tightly integrating all of the components together. And Victor is going to speak a little bit more about that in a couple of minutes. Now, IT as a service cannot be delivered without a partner such as LinkTime, because key services like line of business apps, migration, IT strategy, support and help desk, and monitoring of the environment are all essential to delivering IT as a service. And again, Victor will speak a little bit more about this in a couple of slides. So Nerdio, the name of our IT as a service platform is Nerdio. And in short, it's a superset of DaaS, infrastructure as a service, productivity and collaboration, security, and business and BDR, business disaster recovery. We deliver both servers and desktops, the complete Microsoft suite, multiple layers of securities, and all-in-one fully integrated system. What makes it so desirable for SMBs is having productized this makes it as simple as just selecting which subscription and implementing it. So Nerdio has 3 different levels of service, and they differ primarily on the size of the desktops and the servers and the amount of security that's delivered. And in our highest level, the enterprise, we include a full disaster recovery module. But this converts your IT from a very variable type of a cost structure to a very simple one price per user per month. The management portal that we talked to, which is the NAP, the Nerdio Admin Portal, performs 4 key functions. One, it helps you, there are discovery tools to assist in understanding what's required in the migration. There is onboarding tools that help you to move applications and hardware to the cloud. About 50% of the system is auto-provisioned up front, so a lot of this is done automatically with the goal of reducing all of the risks associated with deploying a IT as a service in the cloud. And then, as we mentioned, we've got this 3-click management portal that makes managing the entire infrastructure very straightforward and easy. As I said before, essential to delivering IT as a service is working with companies like LinkHigh, and I'd like Victor to jump in and comment a little bit about the role that they play in deploying IT as a service.
Great. Well, thank you, Paul. Well, one of the major reasons why LinkHigh selected Nerdio as a partner is really because our clients were really asking for a solution that gets them out of that 5-year hardware-software replacement cycle, really called infrastructure as a service. And we found a great partner with Nerdio. That NAP portal that Paul mentioned is really what attracted me, besides their data centers. So that portal is a complete management of the desktops and servers. It allows us, LinkHigh, to help manage your networking platform for you. So the relationship really doesn't change with our clients. So LinkHigh is always going to be the forefront of support. Nerdio is going to be our back end for the data centers, but LinkHigh will be all the customer-facing action. So we'll still provide your remote support. We'll still provide the patch management. More importantly, we'll provide the consulting and DCIO services that we always have for the last 25 years. And the onboarding, so LinkHigh will white glove the whole solution. We'll work with our clients, and we'll onboard you to the Nerdio solution. But the relationship really doesn't change. It's really LinkHigh is your IT company. We selected Nerdio, and I was pretty adamant about making sure that everyone knows that we selected Nerdio. Nerdio has been a great partner. their reviews and rankings by like Tom's Hardware has been phenomenal. So we certainly want to make sure that everyone knows that we picked a great, infrastructure partner.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next slide.
Yep.
So as I said, the Nerdio platform has been deployed across a broad set of industries, hundreds of customers, and thousands of users. So this is a well-tested and proven implementation. What we've done recently is we've productized that so that effectively companies like LinkHigh can be us in their market. And so we're not introducing an unproven technology or service. We're taking something that has been proven and tested through the years, productizing that, putting the NAP layer on top of it, and enabling our partners to deliver this service to their customers. And as you can see, we've got very, very happy customers. Our Net Promoter Score is about 75, which is equal to companies like Apple and Google and Facebook. So it's very, very highly scored by the users. And it is certainly something that you can feel comfortable deploying in your business. And that's, next slide. And that's really all we have for today. So if there are any questions, we'd be happy to take them.
So we'll unmute everyone. So you can definitely just ask away, or you could type in the question section, and then we'll answer them. And if there's any questions that we don't get to today, we'll definitely send all the answers in an email shortly. So are there any questions? So one question that I saw already is the Office 365. So Office 365 is core to the Nerdio solution. So you need to be on Office 365, which I think the majority of our clients are on anyway. And if not, we can certainly help you migrate to the Office 365 platform. And all the management can be done through the Nerdio platform as well. And that Office 365 management is part of the LinkHigh service. So it'll be transparent to our clients as well. Are there any other questions? Well, if not, you could certainly send emails at a later time. I wanted to mention the offer on the screen. So any attendees will get $150 off their first month of Nerdio if they sign up within 60 days of the webinar. And we'll have a recording of this webinar on our LinkHigh page probably the next business day or so. So if there's no other questions.
Thank you very much for having us.
Oh, thank you, Paul. And I want to thank everyone. And, look for an email probably in the next day or so with a link to the webinar. And if there's any additional questions, we'll put it in the email as well. Thank you.